And welcome to part 2 of the short version. So this is kind of like the behind the scenes part of the video. It's just, just chilled out, relaxed, thoughts about the knife law, things like that. The Gov website is a bit of guidance. If you're always unsure, walk into your police station, preferably without any knives on you obviously, and just speak to them. It's all about education, and the more people know about laws and about things like that, the more questions you can ask, and the more you can ask why do they have these, and they'll go into a bit of a history lesson, and they'll talk to you about different laws and legislation that's been passed. They might even know of some cases and things. So I would strongly suggest, if you're unsure, go and speak to police or whoever. Going back to buying and carrying knives, this is our law, this is UK law. Do I agree with it? It doesn't matter whether I agree with it or not. It is what it is. I can't change it, you can't change it. We just have to work with it. If they said anything with a blade, you can't take in public, I would be very angry. I don't think that's right. But likewise, I'm not extremely angry that we've got these limits. They've been around for longer than I've been around, so actually they haven't really impacted my life. It's not like I've been born and then I was a kid and you could carry around machetes, and all of a sudden now you can only carry around little Victorinox pen knives. So I don't think my freedom, as it were, has been impacted at all. I also don't think I'm brainwashed, because there hasn't been that transitional period where you have gone around with big bladed knives for whatever reason, and then they've had a complete ban on them. You can't really lose that freedom if you didn't know about it to start with, if that makes sense. So what I'm trying to say is, do I agree with the knife law? Yes and no. I do agree with it, that there has to be something in place as a bit of a deterrent. Likewise with driving. I'm a motorcyclist. I don't agree with some of the speed limits, but then again, some people would. It's that kind of scenario that it is what it is, and if you're going to start criticising specific law, which knife law isn't really a big thing over here, it's not a huge issue. If it was, people would be signing petitions to get it changed every day. If it was impacting their lives, which it's not. I mean, I'm a collector at heart. I won't go out and use a lot of my knives all the time, and for people that use them during work, then that's great. I don't think the law's there not to hinder their way of life either. As you can see, it says here, you can take it to and from work, to the gallery or museum. I mean, there we go. I think the penalty is just out of this world for an adult carrying a knife. I mean, it's pretty hefty, and I haven't really heard of any cases like that. But what is difficult to comprehend is, I don't really view a knife as a weapon, and a lot of people are slowly. It's difficult, but a lot of people are slowly coming to terms with that. People are so tuned in, and a lot of scaremongering that goes on about knives, and whenever someone's hurt, unfortunately, or stabbed or whatever, it makes big news, and for some reason it makes big news, but yet it doesn't make big news when people are hurt when too many people are hurt in car crashes or electrical accidents, or if they're just falling off ladders and things. So there's that stigma that the media attach to knives in particular. It's a little bit like the example I would view it as is a little bit like Jaws, in that people went to see Jaws and then they're really scared of great whites, or they just have a hatred of them because of this film that portrayed them in such a really horrific manner. And now it's sharks are quite protected, and it's they're becoming endangered, and it's that kind of mentality. It had bad press, and there's been consequences to that, and it's similar to knives. That's my take on it anyway. More and more people hate knives because they make bad news. It's similar to guns in America. You get a lot of people pro and for guns and gun law. I won't go too much into America's laws and the Bill of Rights and things, because that's what they have. They have the Bill of Rights. But what I will say on that is, you must agree with me that, you know, if there is a shooting in a school or anything like that, it is horrific, and it does put a bad name to guns. It doesn't put guns in a good light at all. However, I don't think that that's fair either, that it's putting the spotlight on the weapon, you know, or in this case the tool, knives, rather than the person. And I think that happens far too much in society, that the media will grab onto the actual weapon or the tool that has harmed that person or whoever, rather than the person and what's behind the reasoning of why they have committed such an atrocious act, what was going on in their life to bring them to that, you know, that conclusion of a way out, or vengeance, or, you know, or just because they're just mental. And I think that happens far too much. And it shouldn't, because Americans, you've got your Bill of Rights and you've got your gun law, right to bear arms, excellent thing. Wish we had something like that, like a Bill of Rights. That would be really awesome. But at the same time, we have to make, you know, we have to make good use of what we've got in terms of law and things. So this is the part of the video where I show you some examples, things I carry with me every day, all the rest of it. So I like to carry my dog tag, my folding dog tag knife with me a lot of the time. This is the Serge Panchenko. It's a piece of man jewellery at the end of the day. I use it now and again, but I'm, you know, not gonna rip it off my neck and start going crazy on boxes or anything like that. But that's something that I will wear a lot. I will take my Spy DK almost everywhere. It's been exceptionally useful. Everything from cutting parcels and letters at work, to cutting cake, to cutting parcels that I get at home, you know, wherever. And the biggest kind of need I've found for a knife is when I haven't had one on me, and then it's been, you know, pretty tough to find a solution to that. It's when you need it the most. The best knife on you, the best knife to use in any situation is the one that you have on you. So I will, on occasion, use the Spy DK. Sometimes I'll just take a penknife out with me. Absolutely fine. Does all the cutting tasks I need. In the UK, there's not this, you know, we're not either all scared of each other or we all want to hurt each other. You're either one of those type of things. There's none of this, oh, I need to, you know, protect or defend myself. Well, if you need to defend yourself, you're either scared of everybody, or if you need to act before somebody else acts, then you want to hurt someone. We're not all like this here. There's not that kind of mentality. People just go about their own business, and, you know, there's a very select few people that you know, will cause trouble, and that seems to be a small enough amount for our police forces to deal with. Another thing I might use is Little Squeak, which is a great, quite sheeple friendly. I'd love it in different colours. Light blue would be pretty awesome. An orange, of course, like a safety orange. Black is still a little bit intimidating. I don't know why. I think it's just because there are a lot of knives that have a black handle and a satin finish, and I think there's just a bit of stigma attached. Oh, blade is really shiny, so it must be really sharp, and also black handle. Oh, weapon dangerous. I don't know why, but they should start making them in more colours. So that gives you a little idea of what I kind of take with me a lot of the time. I mean, obviously I'm not going to have all of these on me, but it just gives you, you know, an absolutely, you know, an opinion. Now that's obviously the UK legal knives that I carry without a good reason. I always have a reason anyway. My normal reason is I use it at work for letters and post, and, you know, even my fruit. I'll take an orange every day, or an apple. Perfectly good reason. A lot of places now, they don't have sharp knives, they have plastic, everything. I don't know why, but either way, that's what I will normally take. Our law is very flexible in the sense that if you are going to work, you know, a builder on a site, you definitely need some kind of knife that's small, compact, and it locks, so a bit of a fixed blade. You could well within your right to take a Spyderco Delica. absolutely fine. If your trade needs it and it needs it to lock, you're absolutely fine to do that. I wouldn't walk around everywhere with it flapping about on your belt or your work trousers, anything like that. There's a time and a place, and I wouldn't put that on your person. You get caught and you might get charged on the spot, but it would definitely be up to the judge. Most of the time you'd be absolutely fine, I would think, because if your trade is carpet fitter, you need a knife all the time that's locking, that's safe, then yeah, that kind of makes sense. If your job is a teacher, for instance, and you're carrying around this in Tesco, then yeah, judge is probably going to have a pretty tough time deciding whether you can, you know, legally allowed to just walk around with it. I wouldn't think so. But time and a place, keep it locked up somewhere, boot of your car. The key point is where it's not easily accessible. The example I always like to use is with chef's knives. Chef needs his knives. Some chef's knives are very expensive. There's a good point in not leaving them at work. They might not have lockable facilities at his place of work. So he or she obviously might need to take them home every night or every other night, keep them sharp, all the rest of it. Keep them locked away in a lockbox, boot of your car, don't have any of them on you, it should be fine. Likewise, I get a lot of questions about multi-tools, specifically like locking knives on a multi-tool. Well, if your trade needs it, I think you'll be absolutely fine. But again, if you're, you know, just turned 18, still at college, and you're walking about with one of these, yeah, you deserve everything that's coming to you, I'm afraid, because there's just no need. No matter how useful you think a multi-tool is, you're bending the kind of basic laws, really. You're bending them for your own purposes, really. So yeah, average person, if they were carrying one of these with a locking blade on it, yeah, that'd probably be pretty troublesome. However, if you're taking one of these camping somewhere and this is all you had and it was in your bag somewhere, not on your person, or if it wasn't deployed and you're waving about like an idiot, then yeah, absolutely fine, because it's, you know, for the task. So I do get a lot of questions about locking knives and multi-tools and things like that. Finally, the UK knife law, as you've just read and you've listened to me talk about it, doesn't really allow you to carry a locking knife. It's illegal to carry in public without a good reason. So if you're just walking about town, about London, and you had your Tenacious on you, yeah, you know, if I was a copper, I'd charge you. Be like, well, why do you need to carry this? Because people often say, well, I'd love to carry my Tenacious, I'd love to carry my £40 knife with me everywhere. It's why I bought it. It's a locking knife, and it's safer, Spy DK, although I have cut myself more on the Tenacious than on the Spy DK. Just put that into perspective. But where do you draw the line? Because if you are then going to start pushing and saying, oh well, you know, knives, you should be able to carry at least a Tenacious that's locking, because carrying you know, something like this just isn't going to do the job. That's a load of rubbish. You know, because where do you draw the line? Oh, well, I'll carry the Persistence then, shall we? Oh, no, well, the Persistence for this day, it just didn't suit my needs, so I thought I'd carry the Shemprock around and just have that flapping about while I was riding my motorbike. Something like that. It just doesn't really, you know, compute. Bigger the knife you go, the more questions would be asked as to why you kind of had it. There's a lot of reasons for that. The bigger the knife, the more, I view it as kind of like the weapon scale. The more of a weapon it kind of looks, you can pretty much hurt anybody with any number of inanimate objects. But it's that kind of perception, both in public, the law, wherever. It's a bit of an arms race, really. It doesn't mean that you can do more damage with a Shemprock than you can with a biro. Anybody seen Born Identity? Yeah, we'll leave it at that. But there you go. That was just like a side note on, you know, the different types of knives and things like that we can't take. However, unlike some countries, I'm pleased that you can buy knives like this, large knives, and have them as your collection. Use them at home. Use them, you know. No reason why you can't take that and use that camping. Absolutely no reason at all. You know, if you were doing something else illegal or causing criminal damage or offending people, or, you know, then yeah, you might get questions, but you shouldn't really be doing those kind of things in the first place. Keep a low profile, my best advice. So that was kind of my extra part of the buying carrying knives, my UK knife law video 2.0, the long version. Hope you found some of that information useful. As always, don't hate the player, hate the game. You know, if you don't like the knife law, don't dislike the video. That's silly. Just put something in the comments. Because like a lot of YouTubers, you think, oh, okay, well, they've disliked the video, they actually dislike the video. Whereas I actually know that you guys probably just dislike either the content or the law, or, you know, whatever it is itself. I know that, but a lot of other people that come on might also think the latter. So, thanks ever so much for joining me. Thanks for watching. Take care.